Hello and welcome to World Focus. We begin in Côte d'Ivoire, where President Alassane Ouattara has made his intention to run for a third term official. He made the announcement during the celebration of the country's 60th independence anniversary. And during the 25th-minute speech, Mr. Ouattara explained his decision to reverse his original plan of refraining from running for a third term. He blamed the sudden death of Mr. Amadou Gon Coulibaly, his hand-picked successor and presidential candidate. The president ruled out the possibility of postponing the presidential election, describing himself as a guarantor of peace and security, using his role as grounds for his controversial decision. Well, joining me now to discuss this further is an African affairs analyst, Naka Lagogi, and he joins me from Washington, D.C. Good to have you on the news at this time. So what do you make of this development in Côte d'Ivoire, seeing that the president sees himself as a unifying sector?
Yeah, thanks very much for the opportunity. Yes, Mr. Ouattara is not a unifying factor. It is a pretext for him to run again, and we knew that this is what he wanted to do. That was his initial plan, to run again and to violate the very constitution that he put together when he asked a committee of experts, to work on a new constitution. And then it was because of the pressure coming from the international community and coming from the people of Ivory Coast that he changed his plan. And he chose Amadou Gon, the late prime minister who died, and therefore he was obliged to come out because his plan has been, has been derailed, by a matter of the course of destiny.
So what endeared him to the people of Côte d'Ivoire? Do you think perhaps he would get the second chance as he so desire?
No, second chance for what? To run again? To
Absolutely.
Be there?
Yes.
No, this is what I'm saying, because we know how he came to power. He raised a rebellion to become a candidate, and then when it was believed that he won the election by the international community and by electoral commission, while the Constitutional Council thought that Babu won the election, he resorted to violence to become the effective president of the Ivory Coast. So he promised, to heal the nation, to heal, the wounds of division. He promised to build national reconciliation. He promised, in order to undertake real development. 10 years after, he came to power, we realized that he did not fulfill most of his promises. And then he knows that he has failed. And then also because he wants to extend his presence as the president of Ivory Coast in order to keep power in the hands of the Northerners, because he has a tribalistic view of politics in Ivory Coast, and that's why today it is very, very complicated for him in order to relinquish power.
So what do you think will be the implications of this, looking at the opposition? Do you think perhaps he would have a smooth sailing ride when the elections begin?
Oh, no. I've been saying that, and I'm glad that you give me the opportunity to talk about that here on your channel. Ivorians that they're going to take to the street, and they have already started, because, listen, Babu was condemned in absentia in Ivory Coast, while we know that Babu has been freed by the ICC, even though he's still under some restriction. He's in Belgium. So Babu's name could not be found on the voters list. And then Blake Goudé, who was in The Hague with Babu, name could not be found on the voters list. Soro Guillaume, the very man who raised the rebellion with Alassane Ouattara, now, because he wants to be president, is in exile. His name is not on the voters list. And then Bédier, the former president of Ivory Coast, who was in a coalition with Ouattara while they were going against Gbagbo, this guy left the government coalition and is running against Mr. Ouattara. So all the odds are against Mr. Ouattara, and his former partners have joined the opposition, and there is a bigger coalition against him, and he's an isolated guy, and the international community will have some difficult time in order to defend him. And then what I know is that either now, before the election, or around the election, or just after the election, the Ivorian people will take to the street, and then Mr. Ouattara sooner or later will have to leave power in Ivory Coast.
So from your perspective now, if you believe the opposition will have a greater chance when the elections begin in Côte d'Ivoire, do you think perhaps they would have a foothold in Côte d'Ivoire, seeing that Ouattara might have the incumbency at his disposal?
I'm not sure, so see if I understand the question, but anyway, so by what we see now, it looks like if there is an election, Mr. Ouattara surely is going to declare himself the winner, because who violates the constitution is likely not going to be willing to organize a free and fair election. So this, people should forget that. But even though the President Bédié is going to run and some other people, but we believe that this is going to be resolved in the street, because the Ivorian people have understood that it is only the street or the people's power in the street that's the only thing that can stop what people call the imposture of Mr. Alassane Ouattara.
All right, and that's a fine place to leave it. Thank you very much, Naka Lagoke, for your insights on World Now today.
Thank you very much.